Hello everyone, Voodoo here, and today I want to talk about Fel Scarred. So recently the bugs with Aldrachi Reaver, they're fixed now, but they've pushed people more towards playing Fel Scarred in dungeons for those few days. And honestly, Fel Scarred is not as bad as you might think. So today's video, we want to talk about that. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We're getting close to 15,000. It's my goal for the end of the year. Hopefully we can hit it. And let's go on to the video. All right, so first things first, obviously, let's talk about Fel Scarred. So big thing here is I'm not talking about single target at all. Fel Scarred still is very bad there. Even with the bugged Aldrachi Reaver, it was still better. So we're not touching that. That needs a whole other can of worms. Although at the end of the video, I might touch on how to fix it. Now, what's before you here is the Mythic Plus build for Fel Scarred. I did a guide on it, so if you want to do rotation and stuff, go check that out. The big thing here is that you have a crazy amount of damage. Now, beforehand, where Demon Surge was most of your damage, it is still a chunk of your damage, but not anywhere near as much as it used to be. A lot of your damage now comes from Immolation Aura and Eye-Beam. You get more Eye-Beam damage in this build because of Demonic Intensity, right? It just deals more damage, 30% more whenever you're in meta. So you have a lot of 2-minute burst. Other big thing, and obviously, right, we have Cycle of Hatred, which just gives you more Eye-Beams compared to where we were in Season 1. Other big thing is they've made Flamebound a real talent now. So last patch, when everyone actually played Fel Scarred in 11.0, what this did was I believe like a 30 or a 25% increase critical strike damage. It was a lot lower than it is now, but now it gives Immolation Aura a 2-yard increase, which it did before as well, and a 50% increased critical strike damage bonus. So whenever you crit, those crits are doing 50% more damage than normal on top of Know Your Enemy. So there's a lot of extra damage to crit for Eye-Beam there, which is actually really, really good. There's also a secret effect to this talent, which makes Rage Fire also have a 2-yard increased radius. Now, the big deal there is that not only are you getting this extra critical strike damage, which means more Rage Fire damage, but you're also just going to hit more targets with the increased Rage Fire range and the increased Immolation Aura range, right? So I believe this bumps it up to a 10-yard range. We can open our spellbook here. 10 yards. So you have a 10-yard range around you, which is pretty sizable in order to hit things. So those are kind of the changes we've had from last patch to this one. Now, they also buffed up Enduring Torment, I believe, which is not that big of a deal at all. Some other things too, Scream Brutality has the Throw Glaive stuff. We do take that because Burning Blades works with Throw Glaives. Now, they've buffed Burning Blades and buffed Demon Surge damage, but in return, they've also removed this from our mastery because Enemies Necessary is gone. So where there are concessions to losing out on Demon Surge damage, losing out on Burning Blades damage, you do have a lot more Eye-Beam damage and a lot more Flamebound damage. Now, the thing is that you're not really seeing many people play this. And the reason why is that right now in AoE, realistically, both specs do similar damage, right? Fel Scarred and Aldrachi Reaver both do similar damage, and we play the same build for them basically. The difference here is that Aldrachi does more single target and does funnel. It has a lot more of an ethical profile because you have 8-10% of your damage being Wounded Quarry, which is funneling onto a priority target. However, when Wounded Quarry was bugged, when Reaver's Mark was bugged last week, a lot of people switched over to Fel Scarred just to test it out, to try it. And they saw that the AoE damage Fel Scarred does is very, very good. It's more than Aldrachi Reaver, which is very strong. Now, again, the biggest issue here, where with Aldrachi Reaver, the more targets are present, the more single target damage you do. With Fel Scarred, the more targets are present, the less single target damage you do because of Focused Hatred. Basically what happens here is that Demon Surge deals 50% increased damage when it strikes a single target, and for every additional target, it reduces this bonus by 10%. So against one target, it's 50%, 2 targets is 40%, 3 targets is 30%, and so on and so forth. And this does do that damage to all targets, so don't worry about that. This isn't how it used to be. They did fix this. So you do lose out on damage the more targets are present to your priority target. So you have a lot less prio. You have some because of Burning Blades and Chaos Strike, but a lot less than you have for Aldrachi Reaver. But that AoE damage is very, very real. Again, Demon Surge is nerfed, but we'll just go over here and I'll show you a little bit of an opener here. Immolation Aura, very, very important. We're just gonna kind of pop everything. I'm not the most versed on my damage here, but you know, we do want to have most of our Immolation Auras rolling before we go in here. Demon Surge meta, Death Sweep, Annihilation, Sigil, Eye-Beam. Do this, pop all of our Immolation Auras as well. And you can see like the damage here is pretty nutty on the burst window. And then of course we're going to drop off like a cliff once meta's over because that's where all of our damage comes in. But you can see here, right? We peaked at like 10 million on 5 targets. Rage Fire does a crazy amount. Immolation Ore does a crazy amount. I got a lot of immos, which is, you know, fair. Eye Beam, Inner Demon, all that stuff, right? There's a lot of damage going on here. But the big thing, again, that you're not really doing a lot of single target damage through that. So the reason a lot of people don't play this is like, well, you know, play the funnel that you get here and let the other better AoE specs, right? Unholy Death Knight, stuff like that, do your AoE damage. But we actually do have people playing this. So we're gonna swap over and take a look at Shad, Shadarek, shout out to him. I will link his Twitch and YouTube. He has started doing that. Please go check him out. Great guy, great Havoc content. He's the #1 world ranked Havoc right now on Twitch. If you want to see some Twitch streams with keys, go check him out. But we do have him actually playing Fel Scarred, which is why I'm doing this video. So let's take a look at that. So this is Radario, and this is Shadarek DH. Now you're probably wondering, this is not the #1 person. Well, this is his ult. We'll get there. So this is Shad's ult, and Shad has been just playing another Demon Hunter, except he's only playing Fel Scarred on this thing. Just for fun, he's only playing Fel Scarred and keys. And he is actually pretty good. Number 23 Havoc in the world on this character, times 17, 16s, and some 15s, which is quite high. That's pretty good, right? I believe this is title range. If not, it's very, very close. And he's doing this only on Fel Scarred, only with like 669 gear, right? If we look at all these keys, just this random 17. Oh, he lied to me. Okay, well, he's doing this mostly as Fel Scarred, but that was an Aldrachi Reaver dungeon. Anyways, the other main thing why I'm doing this is over here, we have Operation Floodgate. On Floodgate, this is actual Shad. This is his real account. Go back up, 3548, #1 Demon Hunter Havoc in the world, number 80 all together. So that's pretty good considering Vengeance is so broken. We look at Floodgate, we see that he actually timed, this is his, I believe, best run of Floodgate, a plus 17, 3 minutes under time, which is pretty good. Damn, 3 minutes on 17. Anyways, Fel Scarred. He's playing Fel Scarred. Now this is why it's here. So yes, Fel Scarred's good. Shad's been playing on his alt, so he says, although I showed you an Aldrachi Reaver one. I don't know, hearsay, whatever. But this is him doing it on the progression key 17, whatever, right? Like this is his highest Floodgate, his quickest Floodgate, and he played Fel Scarred. Actually, I want to see if this one was Fel Scarred too. Take a look. Also Fel Scarred, down here, also Fel Scarred. Now, why Floodgate? Why Floodgate? And the thing with Floodgate is that there's not really a ton of priority in that dungeon. And you actually do like the AoE damage it gets to kill those ads on like first boss, to kill a bunch of ads just throughout the dungeon. A lot of AoE and a lot of targets that just don't really matter. We'll go back in game and I'll break down kind of showing you what actually does matter. But the routes people play in Floodgate right now are built so that you pull as little of those scary mobs as possible. Because realistically there's only like 2 scary mobs, right? But yeah, so I mean, Shad's playing Fel Scarred on his main. His alt is almost entirely Fel Scarred, so he says. So if one of the best Demon Hunters in the world is doing it, it can't be that bad, right? All right, so we're back in game. This is the add-on Mythic Dungeon Tools. Great add-on, check it out. You get to routes and stuff. And this is the route that Shad ran on that key. Obviously, it's not like the world first key or anything like that, but it's the highest one done by him, and he is the highest Havoc. So there you go. So if we look at these, it can be pretty confusing at first, but the main mobs we're looking at here, there are 3. 2 actually, sorry. It's the Dark Fuse Blood Warper and the Shredinator 3000. Those are the scariest mobs in this dungeon. Everything else is like pretty reasonable for the most part. There's some of these Dark Fuse jump starters towards the end that aren't as wonderful, but they're not as bad compared to the Shredinators and to the Dark Blood Warpers. So they only actually pull 1 Blood Warper, which is this one up here, which you do have to pull for the weapon stockpile. And they pull 3 Shredinators total. Over here, and over here. As well as a ton of just like other mobs. Now, while you can totally run Aldrachi Reaver in this, there's a lot of pulls that are just consistent mass AoE back to back to back, which does make Fel Scarred very, very good. You got 2 targets here. Fel Scarred's decent at that. Big Mama, you do need to kill all these mecha drones a lot, and this is a really good boss fight for like Fel Scarred because you have Immolation Ore going all the time. And just like packs like this, where it's just like a bunch of shitter mobs, packs like this, a bunch of shitter mobs. This pulls a bunch of shitter mobs. And with this one, most of these are as well. Obviously, you have the jump starters, but again, those aren't as bad as the Shredinators, right? Or the Blood Warpers. So this is generally what pulls look like towards the top end. This is probably what pulls are looking like. I mean, I haven't done like I'm not pushing dungeons right now, just busy. Probably do it later, but like this is generally what people are doing. Come down this way, up here, do this, come over, kill these, fly down here, pull that, whatever. So this is like a pretty realistic slice of what you'd probably expect to do in a dungeon, where realistically you're not getting a ton of great funnel value unless you're pulling like the Shredinator, these Shredinators, or this one Blood Warper down here. Everything else, not that crazy in terms of like what you want to funnel off of. Everything else has like pretty equal HP, and this is like a great place for Fel Scarred to just kind of rip. So I would recommend honestly trying out Fel Scarred in your next Floodgate dungeons. See how they do. There's stuff that you can do them in like Priory. I don't have a route for this. Priory and not Dark Flame, Meadery as well. But there's a lot more prio in these dungeons that matter. Even though there's like a ton of just like useless trash you can AoE down, but the prio on some of these stuff, like in this one, the Hobgoblins, although they made them a little bit better because they don't spawn stuff, but Hobgoblins, the hyenas down here, and this one, the mini bosses, right? Or the paladins are kind of the scariest things. So prio does matter in these dungeons, but they're also okay Fel Scarred ones. But I would try doing it in Floodgate. I think you'll get some fun mileage out of it. So we swap back to talents. The last thing I want to talk about is just fixing Fel Scarred. So the big problem with Fel Scarred right now is that they took Demon Surge off of the mastery. Demon Surge not scaling with mastery is really weird. I don't think it makes a ton of sense. I think they should put that back on. I'm fine with Burning Blades not doing it because it double dips, but I think Demon Surge definitely should be on our mastery. Make it chaos damage. It doesn't affect anything for Vengeance because Vengeance works with fire damage and chaos is fire damage. But having this not be chaos means Fel Scarred is going to be a lot worse for Havoc because we can't interact with that. Other thing is that like there are still a lot of really boring nodes, right? Like you have Untethered Fury that does basically nothing. You have Enduring Torment, which makes meta worse by buffing Chaos Strike and Blade Dance and the haste you get. So basically, whereas Aldrachi Reaver for meta, you get 30% damage to Blade Dance and Chaos Strike, 10% haste. For Fel Scarred, you get 15% damage to both of those and 5% haste. How does that make sense on the Demon Focus tree, right? Same with Monster Rising, right? You get 8% agility outside of Demon form, which makes Demon form even worse. So I think fixing this tree to make it so that the Demon form stuff actually is like just super powerful, where like you get Demon Surge, but you're worse in meta because of these talents. And then Student of Suffering also sucks. We don't play in AoE anymore, thank God, but just a horrible talent. But yeah, I mean, Fel Scarred's not as bad as people are saying it is. I mean, especially for Vengeance too. Vengeance, I didn't touch on it in this video, but play it for Vengeance. It's very, very good. But for Havoc, it's totally doable. If you want to just blast AoE, like let's say you have like other prio classes. I think Arcane's a priority class right now. I think Assassination Rogue is as well. I'm not sure. But if you have like other really good single target specs, play this. Go ahead. It's super viable. You can definitely time keys with it. It's just not as ethical or as better suited, right? For the comps right now as Aldrachi Reaver. It is going to be less AoE damage than like an Unholy Death Knight or something like that, but it does still do respectable damage. And in like a Floodgate, I think I would just play this just like all the time. It's just going to be the best to time with the key because the priority damage there doesn't really matter that much. So there you go. That's Fel Scarred. Give it a try. Not as bad as you might think. Shad's doing it. Shad's doing it. Why not, right? He's a guide rider. Great Havoc. So there. Fel Scarred. Cool. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of this video. Are you going to play Fel Scarred? I might. There you go. Don't do it in raid though. It's bad there. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time. Peace. A big thank you to everyone watching my videos, but especially to my channel members. Thank you Alexander Trifunovich, Rukaza, Fear Redefined, Loose Change, Jorge Polanco, Matthew Barr, Zuligan, Chocobo Merc, Gabriel Correa, Matchman 133, and Falafadar and Dark Terror. Thank you so much to everybody. If you want to join and support me in making videos, consider following the link below. I will be adding more perks to this over the summer as I get more time, including log review, which isn't available right now. But again, I do appreciate everybody just supporting me and watching the videos. So I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Peace.